Welcome to this video on the 3 balance principles, part of our spiritual life coaching series. Today, we'll explore the core paired principles that form the foundation of integrated development. Traditional coaching focuses exclusively on action-setting goals, creating plans, and taking consistent steps. This approach works until you face significant obstacles or uncertainty. Without faith, action eventually falters. Faith isn't blind belief but a deep trust in something beyond what your current perception can verify. It's the capacity to maintain forward momentum when the path isn't fully visible. Faith says, I don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. When balanced, action and faith create unstoppable momentum. Action without faith becomes exhausting struggle. Faith without action becomes wishful thinking. Together they form the perfect partnership that sustains progress through both clear and foggy terrain. Consider an entrepreneur launching a new venture. With action alone, she meticulously researches the market, creates detailed business plans, and executes marketing strategies. But when initial sales are slower than projected, doubt creeps in. Without faith, she might abandon the venture prematurely. With balanced action and faith, she continues implementing her strategies while maintaining trust in her vision. She adjusts her approach based on feedback, but doesn't question the core mission. This balance allows her to persist through the inevitable valley of death that most successful businesses navigate. Logic represents our analytical mind, our ability to process information, identify patterns, and create structured plans. This faculty is essential, but inherently limited to what we already know or can deduce from existing knowledge. Revelation is the capacity to receive insights that transcend our current understanding, the aha moments and intuitive leaps that solve problems our logical mind cannot. These flashes of insight often arrive when we're not actively trying to figure things out. When balanced, logic and revelation form a powerful decision-making system. Logic without revelation becomes rigid and uninspired. Revelation without logic becomes ungrounded and impractical. Together, they access both calculated thought and inspired vision. A team leader faces a complex challenge that doesn't respond to conventional solutions. Using logic alone, he analyzes data, applies established frameworks, and implements best practices. But the problem persists. With balanced logic and revelation, he continues his analytical work while creating space for insight. He steps away from the problem, engages in activities that quiet the analytical mind, and returns with fresh perspective. Suddenly a novel solution emerges that wasn't visible through pure analysis. Emotional management is the ability to regulate your internal states rather than being controlled by them. This skill is emphasized in traditional coaching as essential for consistent performance. Hope is the spiritual anchor that sustains emotional stability during prolonged challenges. Unlike optimism, which is based on favorable assessment of circumstances, hope transcends circumstances. It's the deep knowing that meaning and possibility exist regardless of current conditions. When balanced, emotional management and hope create unshakable resilience. Emotional management without hope becomes mechanical control. Hope without emotional management becomes emotional volatility. Together, they create the stable foundation needed for long-term success. Someone facing a serious health diagnosis employs emotional management techniques to handle anxiety and fear. These techniques help temporarily, but cannot sustain resilience through a long recovery process without something deeper. With balanced emotional management and hope, they regulate daily emotional states while connecting to a larger sense of meaning and possibility. This hope isn't denial of reality but transcendence of circumstances, finding meaning regardless of outcome. When these balanced principles work together, they create a powerful system for transformation that far exceeds what either practical or spiritual approaches can accomplish alone. Take a moment to reflect on a current challenge you're facing, one where you've been applying effort but haven't yet achieved the breakthrough you desire. Notice your habitual approach to this situation. Are you more inclined toward action or faith? Logic or revelation? Emotional management or hope? Now imagine balancing your approach with the complementary element. If you've been all action, visualize infusing your efforts with faith. If you've relied heavily on logic, imagine opening to revelation. See yourself moving forward with this balanced approach. Notice how it feels in your body. Observe how the energy of the situation shifts when both elements are working together. To apply these principles in your daily life, start by identifying one challenge you're currently facing that has resisted solution through your usual approaches. For action and faith, list 3 specific actions you can take this week, while also identifying what aspect of the situation requires faith rather than certainty. Create a simple daily practice to strengthen your faith muscle. For logic and revelation, spend time analyzing the challenge using your best logical thinking, but also schedule periods of insight time where you deliberately step away from problem solving. Create conditions that support revelation through meditation, walking in nature, or any activity that quiets your analytical mind. For emotional management and hope, identify the primary emotional reactions the challenge triggers in you, and develop specific techniques to manage each emotion when it arises. Then connect your challenge to a larger purpose or meaning that transcends the immediate circumstances. Remember, this isn't about abandoning what works. It's about completing what's incomplete. Your established strengths in either practical action or spiritual connection become even more powerful when balanced with their counterpart. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the 3 balance principles. By integrating these paired elements, you create momentum, wisdom, and resilience that either approach alone cannot sustain.